Welcome back, familiar to NorthsideLDN, and today we've got Crystal Palace determined to keep Arsenal target despite £60 million valuation. Now, Olise is definitely a player that I want to keep, and this is upsetting because I really want Olise at Arsenal. I think he's a top winger, and he definitely bring good competition to Bukayo Saka. But let's get into the article. Make sure you're liking and subscribing, doing all that good stuff, familia. And let's get straight into it. Let's just pause this ad. Here we go. Let's go. Michael Olise may be disappointed to have been missed out on the France squad for Euro 2024, which could prompt him to consider leaving Crystal Palace. The winger is widely regarded as one of the Premier League's top players in his position, having delivered impressive performances towards the end of the season. Many anticipated his inclusion in the French squad for the Euros, but he ultimately overlooked, potentially prompting thoughts of a club switch. With a £60 million release clause in his current Palace contract, Olise's departure could be straightforward for interested clubs. Olise might view a move to a bigger club as an opportunity to enhance his chances in international football. However, according to a report, The Sun, Palace is keen to retain the Frenchman and hopes he will stay to further his development. The Eagles are aware of the interest from other clubs and recognise that several teams can meet the release clause. Nevertheless, they are committed to convincing Olise to remain with them and make efforts to persuade him to stay. Now, £60 million for Olise. Why are we not activating that? And why are we allowing Palace to dictate what's going on? He's got a release clause. If that is true, activate it. Activate it and see if the player doesn't start kicking up a fuss to come to Arsenal. Sometimes you have to be a fire starter. Sometimes you got to light a match. Sometimes you got to be creative. Sometimes you got to make it happen. Do you know what I'm saying? You got to make it happen. Right now, he's going to say he's comfortable at Palace. He's going to say that he loves Palace and all that. Let's be real. He's French. All due respect to Palace, he didn't grow up supporting Palace. He doesn't see Palace as one of the biggest clubs in England. Like, I'm talking about the big five or the big four. Let's be real. Arsenal is a club he may have heard through the French connection with Wenger. Man United, he's heard of these kind of clubs. Use the fact that we are a bigger club, activate the release clause, and see if the player isn't going to want to come. Because I guarantee you, he's going to want to come to Arsenal. He's going to want to come to Arsenal. He comes to Arsenal and he makes it at Arsenal. All of a sudden, he will be in the French squad. He will be looked at one of the best players in the world if he comes to Arsenal and kicks on. And he offers Saka great competition. I think in terms of his technical ability on the ball, I do think he's better than Bukayo Saka, technically. As a baller, technically he's better. Bukayo Saka is very stiff. The only problem is, the only difference between Olise and Saka is Saka's got better numbers. Saka does have better numbers. But take away the numbers and you look at the eye test, Olise, he can take on his man better. He's more creative. He's not so one-dimensional with the way he plays football. Overall, as a baller, I like him more than Saka, but Saka has better numbers. That's my opinion. Now, I know a lot of these Phillies put, but Bukayo Saka is not even on the level of Alexis Sanchez. Let's just keep it real. Bukayo Saka is not even on the level of Alexis Sanchez, bro. Alexis Sanchez was way better than Bukayo Saka, and Alexis Sanchez isn't even the best winger I've seen play for Arsenal Football Club. So before anyone that watches this gets, but can you talk about Bukayo Saka? Bukayo Saka is nowhere near the best winger I've ever seen for Arsenal. Nowhere near. Nowhere near. He's a very good winger, but he's nowhere near an elite level winger that for other wingers that I've seen play for this football club. So Bukayo Saka isn't the be or end all. Now, I like Bukayo Saka. I want him to stay at Arsenal, but I still want us to go and get a winger that can compete with him. Olise, baller, 22 years old, listen, he's had a great season. His stats ain't amazing, but they're not trash. 19 appearances, 10 goals, 6 assists. I think he's an absolute baller. And around a better team, with a better system, allowed to play expansive attacking football, I think he can flourish at Arsenal. I think he's got all the attributes to flourish and do well at Arsenal. I've seen this guy score bad boy free kicks. I've seen this guy take on the defender one-on-one, leave him for dead. I've seen this guy, like, he's a baller, man. He's a baller. He's one of them guys that you see, like, he's a power league baller. Like, when you see them guys that just got the tech, got the skill, got the finesse, got the temperament. Do you know what I mean? Listen, I'll take him and I'll take Eze. Both of them absolute ballers. You know what I'm saying? And they're the kind of players that I like. You know, them techie footballers, them tidy footballers. And I think, listen, it's not guaranteed 100% that Olise would start over Saka. I get that, you know, Saka's been has had more time to be more consistent at Arsenal. Even when he has a poor season, he still puts up decent numbers. So listen, it would be one of those ones. But I always wanted the competition that we see between Trossard and Martinelli. I want to see with Saka and potentially an Olise, because I think it gets the best out of the players. And also, this season, when Martinelli dropping stinker after stinker, if we didn't have a player that could actually put him on the bench like a Trossard, we probably would have fallen off in terms of going for the league time ago. But because we had a player that's good enough to compete, good enough to start, all of a sudden it's not an issue if Martinelli's dropping a stinker. And it's the same with Saka. If Saka's dropping a stinker or Saka gets injured, you now have an Olise. I don't think, you know, Olise's levels and levels below Saka. I don't think he's levels and levels below him. I think he's slightly below him in terms of consistency and output. But I think he could become a great player. And Saka, every single player needs competition. Let's just keep it real. Players need competition. Players need to be kept on their toes. Players need to feel like their position is up for grabs for us to get the most and the best out of their players. I don't like to see players comfortable. I don't like to see these Finnish people that thinking, I'm just going to start every week. It doesn't matter if I drop a stinker. In top clubs, top players know there's competition for spots. You're not just given your place. And Saka, for the longest, 4 years we've not signed a right winger. Saka's had it way too comfortable in terms of always being selected. Now, some people may say, yeah, Saka deserves it. And I'm not saying that Saka doesn't deserve it. But there has been games where he should be dropped. Or there has been games that he needs to be made accountable for because the performance isn't good enough. So there are instances where Bukayo Saka deserves also to be on the bench. But is he really going to be on the bench to Reece Nelson? No, he's not. Which is why when Saka was dropping stinkers, Reece Nelson was not selected. Because this season there was plenty of games that Saka should have been subbed off, or Saka should have missed the next game due to poor performances, and he wasn't, because there's no one to compete with him. I think Olise is an absolute baller. £60 million. Listen, it's not breaking the bank. I think it's decent money. It's decent money for a player that clearly is going to become a baller. I would take Olise and Eze, man. I would love to see Arsenal get Olise and Eze. This is definitely a player that I would love to see at Arsenal. And activate the release clause. If that's activate the release clause, I don't know why we're hovering. You know, I think Tottenham have been linked with him. For me, I felt like we missed a chance, you know, in terms of getting Maddison. I think Maddison did very, very well for Tottenham. We could have got him, but instead we spend money on Fabi Viedas and players like that now we're going to get rid of. You know what I mean? Let's not lose another good player to Tottenham. I hear Olise being linked to Tottenham. I hear Ivan Toney being linked to Tottenham. I don't want to be seeing Tottenham making these kind of signings. These are very good players that I would take at Arsenal. And if they go to Tottenham, I'd be extremely, bro, I'm not going to lie. I'd start getting vexed. I can't lie. I start getting vexed because it's not, they're being linked to players that comfortably can get into the Arsenal squad. And I'm sorry, man. They're supposed to be on phase 1. We're supposed to be on phase 4. And they're in talks with players. Nah, man. No. That I would take. It's not good enough, man. Like, I really, it would start to change my perception of this club if we start getting players like Olise over the line, Ivan Toney or Isak over the line. We go out there and get Eze over the line. Then I start looking at this club thinking, okay, cool. These men really, really want to get over the line. They're really looking at where we were like last season, and they really want to get over the line and get in a player or players that are actually going to make the difference. You know what I mean? That are actually going to make the difference. It's crazy that Olise actually moved from Reading to Crystal Palace 21-22 for £9.3 million. You know what I mean? So listen, they're gonna get a good return, 60 odd £1 million. Let's get it done. I don't know why we haven't got it done already. All of us already called it as soon as the season ended. Get Elise, get Eze, get Tony, or get Isak. Go out there and get it done. Why are we wasting time? I don't understand it. It's getting jarring, man. Honestly, it's getting jarring. Like seeing this Bucaria every day. Oh, we're in for Elise. We're not in for Elise. Oh, we're going in for Osman. No, we're not going in for Osman. Oh, we're going for Sesko. Oh, now it's cooling down about Sesko. Bro, it's jarring, man. Just get it done. This club can't do anything without stressing the fan base out. It's impossible for these filhos da puta to not stress us out. It's always got to be stressed. Just get the players over the line or tell us it's 80% done. Or, bro, whatever, man. Just get it done. Get it done. This club goes on like it's their first year getting transfers done, like it's never done transfers before. I don't get it, man. Like our transfer business is poor. Yeah, and this window we are being linked with players that I like. The problem is we still got to get it over the line. I like Eze. I like Olise. I like Tony, even though there's not really any rumors about Ivan Tony anymore. I like Isak. Who else have we been linked to that I like? I like those players. I will take those players. They're good players. But we still need to get it over the line. Familia, make sure you're hitting the like button and subscribing, doing all that good stuff. Make sure you keep doing all of that. And yeah, man. Now it's time for Puerto Rican parade here in New York. Chilling. You know what I mean? Enjoying the mud. And it is what it is, man. Make sure you like and subscribe. Hit the bell notification. And familia, I'm out. Love.